Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Find Your Model Health, the official podcast of Shemaine's Model Health for those looking to optimize their long-term health and weight goals and understand their body. I'm very happy to have you with me this week. Actually, I am speaking directly to my HETA Guide members this week, but I have no doubt some other followers may listen too. So this is a HETA Guide add-on, and I hope you ladies, you know who you are doing super good as we start to transition into the summer holidays. If you're here with me in Alberta, it's been a wet start, but at least there's no homeschooling, right? Before I go on, I must remind you that the information in these podcasts are for informational purposes only and should not be taken as medical advice. So about 2 weeks ago, I mentioned to you all that I was going to create some sort of post or blog or something to help kind of support you through the summer. We've all had a tough time since pretty much mid-March with the pandemic and social distancing and schools being closed, and many of you are moms and I know many of you are not, but regardless, we've all had a lot on our plate, working from home, not seeing our family members, this, that and the other. It's been very stressful to say the least, and over the last few months I've noticed many of you kind of just in survival mode. Now, not all of you, I know some of you had really put your head down and were like, this pandemic is not going to get the better of me, so you stuck to your guns and you continue to see progress in your weight and your health as the weeks went by. But nonetheless, many of us were still in survival mode. And now that the summer is here and the province and the country and the world is starting to open up again, I can see how many people really want to enjoy the summer even more, which is a double-edged sword, because for the last few months, since mid-March when everything started to shut down, many people were so stressed that they didn't focus on their health or their weight goals, and they maybe consumed foods that they shouldn't have, and they experienced some negative biomarkers or gained some weight or just weren't feeling good in themselves. Like there was a loss of control because we couldn't control what was going on in the outside world. So everything just became a big mess. So then when the summer comes around, some people may have already put on weight or fell totally off track, and now everything's opening up and they want to enjoy the summer even more. But we know that may add to the problem. That may leave you in a place where in September you not only have your pandemic gain, but maybe you also have summer gain as well. And none of us want to see that. I don't want you feeling bad in yourself, and I don't want you struggling, but I also don't want you to not enjoy the summer as well, because I understand it has been a hard few months. So hopefully this podcast will help you kind of survive the summer a bit more. Those of you that did stick to your guns and are still making progress, high five to you. And I know you, those of you that did, and I know that you are adamant about continuing to stick to your guns across the summer, but I know you want to enjoy the summer as well. So may kind of loosen up the reins a little bit. So with all that in mind, and for myself, just as a side note, personally, I, of course, am a mom of two, and I struggled over the last few months with the stress. I had weeks where I was great and totally focused with my goals, and I did see a loss. I didn't have a pandemic gain. If anything, I had a loss, but there were days that I really did struggle with nutrition and making good choices, because some days you literally just think, fuck it, I can't even deal with this anymore. I am so sick of this shit. And I had a lot of those days, and I know you did too. But for me, my goals, I have set a goal for September. My main focus this summer is to really focus on de-stressing my body, supporting my adrenals. I did experience a lot of adrenal exhaustion since March. because I just had so much on my plate. And then I want to improve my body strength. So improving strength means increasing lean, strong muscle mass. So while I do that, my goal is to maintain my weight on the scales. But if I'm building lean, strong muscle and improving strength, that means I'm going to be cutting body fat. But I don't expect it'll be too much over the summer. If I'm gaining a couple of pounds of muscle over the summer, maybe 2 or 3, which is the average, then maybe I'm losing 2 or 3, maybe 4 pounds over the summer. It really depends on how disciplined I want to be or what pops up over the summer. But regardless, each day I'm making smart choices and I'm weighing up the pros and the cons. Like this coming weekend, we're going to BC. That means I want to be extra disciplined this week, like Monday through Thursday, because I want to feel like I can enjoy the weekend. And to some people that sounds bizarre. They're like, well, why couldn't you enjoy the weekend if you're not disciplined Monday through Thursday? Well, for me personally, and my journey over the last 13 years, which is how long I've been in the health industry, and my own health journey, like my own fat loss journey, just over 14 years, I know that when I do kind of overconsume maybe not so good foods, or I inflame and it looks like I've put on a few pounds because I inflame quite a lot from like carbs and junk food, or I might start feeling like the negative side effects, so that food hangover where I start feeling a bit depressed and irritable and cranky and I don't feel good. So I want to minimize that. I want to earn the weekend so that even if I do indulge or overindulge because it's a weekend, then I know like, well, I did my best, the damage is not going to be that bad, and I know I can redeem myself. So I'm having this balance, and I do enjoy being on track during the week. I feel really good, I feel really strong. Like I enjoy having steak salad and my clean coffees and my dark chocolate and like really clean foods. I do enjoy that, so I'm not like punishing myself or disciplining. Like I really enjoy exercise. It makes me feel really good. I get those lovely dopamine hormones and the nice adrenaline when I lift really heavy. I can go 2 or 3 days without working out because I know I need to relax and let my adrenals rest. But then I can see the hormones decline and I start getting angry or irritable again, and I know I need to work out. So I do enjoy it. It very much is a relaxing tool for me. It's me time. It's self-care. So what I'm saying is, just because I'm making these choices or I'm disciplining myself on certain days, I'm not miserable. I do that because I choose to do it and I enjoy it and I don't hate it. And that's eventually where I'd like to see everyone, is to trust themselves enough, to have enough confidence in themselves that they know they can discipline themselves without a doubt when they need to, and they know they can control themselves to get them to their goals, but they know they can kind of relax and enjoy life and then get back on track. And it's that control, but it's also discipline and trusting yourself that you can discipline yourself. And there's a big trust component. Many of us don't trust ourselves, but if you ask someone, do you trust yourself? They'd be like, yeah. But if you said, do you trust yourself? Like really sit down and have a think about this in context. Do you trust yourself around food? Or if you have one bite of this, could you stop yourself, or will you have to eat the whole cake? Or if you buy these cookies, can you have them in the house? Like, and trust yourself to not go near them. Like there's all that. Or can you trust yourself that if you sit down for quote a half an hour after dinner to digest your food, that you will get up and then go for that walk? So when people then have a think about it, they're like, actually no, I wouldn't do that. Like for me, probably not a good idea to have Purdy's chocolate in the house. As much as I have great discipline, that's just one of my gateway drugs, that if that's in the house, it's no holds barred. So going on, I don't want to digress too much, I wanted to kind of run through some things to help you guys survive the summer. So first, what I was saying about that balance, and maybe we've put on some pandemic weight, maybe we haven't. We do need to set a goal from now, so tomorrow being July 1st to September, when kids go back to school. What is going to be your goal? Are you going to be like me, focus on maybe a 2 or 3 pound loss and increase muscle and strength? Or are you just going to say, well, I'd like to lose, or I'm going to lose maybe 3 to 5 pounds between now and September, or I'm happy with maintaining as long as I don't gain, and so on. So you really need to sit down. And for some people, it might just be, I'm going to maintain, but I really want to work on my sleep and my adrenals and my gut health, or I want to improve my PMS, or it's going to be very individual, but you want to sit down and kind of plan out the next 8 weeks, like what are going to be your goals. So for many people, I think it is going to be kind of a maintenance season where you're just going to maintain and stay around the current weight that you're at. So that current weight is on the scales. We know that the scales is not definitive, and that maybe the current weight that you're seeing today may also include fluid retention or inflammation or period or whatnot. So that's just the scales. It's not 100% reflective of body fat loss progress and so on. But so first we're going to come up with that goal. Next, we're going to remember to hydrate a lot over the summer. I've been talking about this a lot lately. I've put in questionnaires in the biohacking group. I've done lots of infographics. I've done recipes. I've got more stuff coming. So this is a huge thing. I've noticed that there's a lot of dehydration going on, even with me, especially as the weather changes. And I mentioned if you sleep with the fan on, if you're on antibiotics, if you're sweating during the night because it's warm, a lot of people don't register that stuff like that is going to dehydrate them. So we need to be increasing our water. And if it's a pain for you to get in a lot of water, you can look to teas, you can look to homemade ice pops, you can look to soups, bone broths, other water dense foods. So I've put out lots of stuff, but when we're not hydrated enough, that is going to slow down fat loss in a way of energy production. It will slow down cellular energy, it'll increase bloating, it'll increase constipation, it'll increase inflammation, it'll increase toxic overload. There's a lot that happens, so making sure that we're hydrated. Most people right now, just throwing this out there, most people would want to be averaging 4 liters, which sounds like a lot. Some people can get by on less, some people need a lot more. I'm saying on average 4 liters, and that includes making sure you're getting your water dense foods. Now, when it comes to eating over the summer, I've no doubt there's going to be more barbecues, more treats, more ice creams, more ice pops or popsicles, as they call them here. If you are sitting down to a meal or eating out or something, you can make smarter choices. If you're eating out, what are the good choices? Okay, a salad may be boring, but some places do great salads. Or you could just go with the steak and the green veg, or steak bites or chicken wings or something like that. You know what to do. When you're at home or you're in a family's house, you can use smaller plates. It sounds bizarre, and you sound like, oh, that would be embarrassing. It wouldn't really. The only one that will really notice is going to be you, and they're your goals. They're nobody else's goals. You can also use the hand portion measurement system that I've taught you, and this is going to be in the form. If you look it up, you can use the search bar or even just search the pictures. So that tells you how can you use your hands to measure out your portion of protein, then your portion of carbs, then your portion of fat, and so on. So you always have this measurement tool with you all the time. You just use your hands. So become accustomed to that. Get very familiar with how to use that and the measurements. That way you're controlling your portions. At least if you control your portions during the day, and then maybe you give in to temptation 1 or 2 or 3 evenings, then you will be in a better position to kind of control gains, or you're still stacking conditions in your favor. If you know that you are going to possibly have more kind of refeed meals or treat meals throughout the week for the weeks for the next 8 weeks, then maybe consider not doing a whole refeed day until September, where you kind of get totally back on track. Again, this depends on your goals. Definitely use fasting as a tool as much as you can, especially for mitigating inflammation and gut distress. And if you do get diarrhea or any sort of IBS reaction, you definitely want to fast as long as you can, regardless of what event is coming up the next day. Otherwise, you are going to fuck yourself up. So you need to really be aware, but enjoy the summer, but make smart choices. So keep an eye on those biomarkers. If you're having alcohol, it's going to be best for you to choose clean alcohol as much as possible. So obviously, I'm a number one fan of biodynamic organic red wine. That's going to be your cleanest, but also with those polyphenolic benefits and the resveratrol for your sirtuin genes and so on and so on. Try not go to town. Like if you're having an evening out, 2 to 3 drinks should be good enough. Because remember that once you consume alcohol, it shuts off all other fat burning systems. No other fat burning happens when you have alcohol, because there's a tier or a hierarchy of what fuels will burn at what time. Alcohol is at the top of that. If alcohol comes into the body, technically it's a poison. So your body will stop burning carbs and fat to burn the alcohol. So remember that. But clean alcohols, you can get some lovely organic Proseccos, and I love them. Prosecco is really clean. Remember that your white wines and your rosés are going to be a lot higher in sugar. So red wine and Prosecco is something I'll go to. And if you're here in Airdrie, Sierra Springs Liquor has a great range of organic and biodynamic wines. Then your next would be like your spirits. Really clean spirits are going to be tequila, gin, which I'm not a fan of, but a lot of people are, vodka, then whiskey. Whiskey also has got some polyphenols in it and some modbiotics. It does have some benefits if it's been aged in a barrel. That's what that brown color is. So it does have some benefits, and that would count as a clean spirit as well. Then if you wanted to mix them with something, obviously I'm going to say, well, sparkling water and like the juice, like real juice off a fruit, is going to be best. So whether that's lime juice, lemon juice, orange juice, cranberry, if you're going to puree your own. So that's going to be best. But you can also use Xavia. Xavia is very sweet in my opinion. I don't drink it, but my kids love it. But a dash of that in your spirit with some ice cubes is going to be really lovely. And then you can add sprigs of mint or even sprigs of lavender are really good right now. Whatever you have in your garden, it's going to taste pretty good once you add it. The options are endless. I have a Pinterest board on clean drinks and some clean cocktails. I think if you wanted to try some out, just don't go with beer this summer. Beer is like your worst enemy. It's very estrogenic. It's got gluten in it as well. It's very inflammatory. It's very upsetting for the body. So just don't do beer. And Melanie, I know if you're listening, you're going to be cringing, but it's for your own good. If you are having alcohol, it's wise to take activated charcoal. I was saying to Christy yesterday, I think, if you know you're having a lot of alcohol, so 2 to 3 to 4 to 8 drinks, you would take 2 activated charcoal before your first drink with a pint of water, and then another 2 again with a pint of water once you go to bed. Then the next morning, if you're feeling hungover, and even if you're not, it's wise to load up on vitamin C and N-acetylcysteine. That's going to boost glutathione production, and generally when we feel that hungover kind of sensation, it usually is a depletion of glutathione and magnesium, so you can load up on magnesium as well. Try your best to keep some sort of consistency throughout your days. Stay on top of your morning and evening routines. They're going to help you feel like you have some control. Not only that, I don't just pull those routines out of the sky. Go back and watch the videos that explains why we do them. They have an abundance of benefits, especially for supporting detoxification pathways. So think about it. If you've got more alcohol over the summer, or extra junk food, or more stress, or more exposure to toxins, you want to keep supporting those detoxification pathways. So your morning routines and your evening are going to be very, very beneficial. But we don't want to lose all control over the summer. I do want you to enjoy it. I do want you to have a balance, but keeping a hold on routines is going to make you feel like you are still somewhat in control. If you like to go to the gym a couple of days a week, or you like to walk every day or whatever, keep on top of them. That's going to keep you in some sort of routine, so you won't feel as bad in yourself. If you have a couple of days where your nutrition is not great, you will say to yourself, well, you know what, at least I've stuck to my routines and I had a really great workout today, or my workouts have been good and I've been feeling stronger. So you're going to be reinforcing that kind of positivity, that reward system that is going to eventually build up by the end of the summer and say, hey, you've actually done quite well. Now you can do even better. So we want to be constantly rewarding ourselves for even the littlest efforts. So recognize those little efforts and the little wins. They will build up and improve that kind of trust and self-confidence that you have in yourself. Stay on top of your supplements as well. That is important, especially if you know you're going to have more alcohol and junk food. They're going to be nutrient depleted. So at least if we know you're getting your good supplements, we have some of your nutrient requirements covered, okay? So make sure you stay on them. Super important, especially your apple cider vinegar. I know you guys don't all like it, but if you're having a lot of junk food or foods or alcohols or anything that can be stressing your gut, at least give your gut a bit of love with the apple cider vinegar so that it can kind of process things better and have a fighting chance. Sleep, make sure you're getting enough sleep. If you have a quiet, slower day and you can squeeze in a 25-minute nap, don't go more than 25 minutes, then do take that. Take advantage of it. I've no doubt the summer is going to be crazy for many people. Camping, summer camps, God knows what is going to happen. So do try to get as much sleep as you can. Many people can get by on different amounts of sleep, but I have seen from my experience working with everyone over the years that optimal sleep is 8 to 9 hours. So I know there's a lot of clinicians that recommend 7 to 8 hours. From what I have seen, with all the adrenal stress and trauma and everything that's going around, 8 to 9 hours, especially closer to the 9 hours, seems to be the sweet point for making people feel good and energized and supporting good cognitive performance, which helps you make good choices throughout the day. Okay, try to move more than you sit. Be conscious of how much you're sitting. Move, kneel, crawl, dance, jump, walk, play. Just move more than you sit. That's going to keep your calorie expenditure high. This is going to help with maintenance at least. So if you're having extra treats or whatever, maybe we're mitigating them with expending extra energy by moving a lot more. So move more than you sit. You want to walk and do some sort of exercise daily. You all know this. So just don't give yourself excuses. There's many options. You can garden, you can jump on trampolines, you can hike, you can do trails. I believe swimming pools will be opening up. I don't know who's going to want to use them, but they are. Gyms are opening. There's so much you can do. Have dance parties with your kids. Wash your floor with your toothbrush. Like, there's a lot you can do. Just move more than you sit. Okay, I'm going to start wrapping this up. If you're having carbs at a meal, go back to watching your portions. Really the most important meal for not having carbs is going to be your first meal. So if you can hold on to that for the summer, and then if you're having carbs at the other 2 meals of the day, use your hand portions if you're not tracking or using chronometer or weighing or anything like that. But remember that having carbs, it can inhibit your self-control and further increase cravings. If you think having a half a cup of one carb, you're fine, but then you find it causes you to crave even more carbs, you're like, it's a gateway drug, be aware of that. Does having carbs first thing in the morning start off this big cascade of cravings for you throughout the day? I know it does for me, so that's why I will not start the day with any sort of carbs, because I'm well aware of the potential damage that can be done throughout the day. So that concept of inhibiting control is not just in the immediate, but over the next few days too, because many people will have one more bad day, then maybe cravings are there the second day, then you have a second day, and now you're spiraling out of control, and it's a week or two later where it's just been all hell breaks loose. So let's be conscious of stuff like that. Sometimes if I have carb cravings and maybe I give in and have like an Oreo cookie or two to kick myself in the butt or nip that in the bud, I'll do a big shot of apple cider vinegar, and that will stop those cravings in their tracks. Excess carbs will also dehydrate you, constipate you, inflame you, bloat you, cause headaches, cause irritability. Excess carbs will cause aches and pains. They will cause night sweats, furthering dehydration, and of course can contribute to weight gain. So I'm just throwing that in there just to keep you on your toes, just to remind you that if you start feeling shitty over the summer and we look at your nutrition, the answer is usually right there in black and white. So, okay. Self-care is going to be very important for you because you've already been through a lot of stress the last few months. Now you have another 2 months of kids not being in school and summer holidays and trying to enjoy the summer, but I'm sure on some level you will be slightly worried about your health or your weight or feeling guilty. So make sure you're fitting in that self-care to say, you know what, I'm making progress every day. I'm recognizing my efforts. I'm going to do this because it makes me feel good. And really take care of myself and slow down, and that self-care is going to be important, and that's going to increase your confidence. If you know that you can say, hey everybody, no, I'm taking the evening to myself to have a bath, do my nails, do a face mask, watch a movie or read a book or whatever, putting your foot down or setting these boundaries or these no times where you're saying, no, this is just for me, that can prove to yourself that you can prioritize yourself. That can increase your confidence because not only are you disciplining yourself and putting yourself first, but you're also saying no to other people that might need you, and otherwise you might just forget about yourself and be at everyone's beck and call. But if you can start prioritizing self-care, you can really prove to yourself, well, hey, I can actually do this. Remember to trust yourself, but trust must be earned. So you have the whole summer to show yourself what you are capable of. Can you enjoy the summer, have a balanced summer, maintain your weight, or continue to progress towards your goals? But earn trust within yourself, because that trust is going to be very important come September for you. When September comes, most people are going to be all back on the wagon or back on board. Kids will be back at school, routines will be back, people will be pushing for that 10 or 15 pounds lost before Christmas and so on. So you have the next 8 weeks to show yourself what you can do and build that confidence and trust in yourself for September, so that you can really kind of show yourself what you are capable of with the run up to Christmas. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that's somewhat helpful for you. Back to that first step, I recommend you set a plan first. If you want to comment below, because I'm going to post this in the form, let me know what you've decided, what you think of this podcast. Was it helpful? I'm sure there's going to be people that aren't in the HETA guide that listen to this, so of course I hope you enjoy it too, and do feel free to share it with anyone that may benefit. But these are my best tips to help you survive the summer. Otherwise, enjoy yourself. Make sure you're getting lots of fresh air, lots of sunshine. It's going to be super important for the immune system and inflammation and sleep and all that good stuff. Really, a lot of this stuff is stuff you know. It's pretty basic. The only thing that I see people struggle with is consistency. So work on that, be aware of that, and again, build that trust in yourself so that you can be confident in your own abilities and you're confident that you can make the right choices for yourself and your goals. Otherwise, enjoy the summer. Have a great summer. I'll still be here. I'll still be chatting to you. I'll still be putting out content. But have a great time. We've all earned it. Okay, bye-bye.